Welcome to the reckoning, the resurrection, the roar that comes from the fire inside your gut. You were the outcast, the misfit, the one they laughed at when you said you'd rise. You were never handed anything, never given the spotlight, and yet, here you stand. Not just having turned the tables, but flipping them with such unrelenting power that the very legs of their pride snap beneath them. You made them look like fools without even trying. This isn't some fairy tale. This is the cold-blooded truth. You bled, you cried in silence. You took every jab with your teeth clenched and your fists trembling, but not once did you back down. And now look at you, standing tall, eyes glowing with vengeance and wisdom, while they sit on the sidelines stunned by the force you've become. This is the moment. This is your moment. You turned the tables, and you made them look pathetic. If you're hearing these words right now, it means you've survived the weight they tried to bury you under. It means you've clawed your way back from the edge, and now you're walking through fire without a flinch. Let that sink in. They laughed behind your back, whispered in shadows, celebrated every time you stumbled. But you stayed quiet, patient, dangerous. And now they can't even look you in the eye because the shame is louder than your revenge. You didn't just win, you obliterated their narratives. So if this fire inside you is roaring right now, if these words speak to your soul, then hit that subscribe button, like the damn video, and remember, this tribe is for the ones who rise from ruins, not the ones who run from storms. You're not alone. You're with the wolves now. You're with those who smile at the edge of the cliff and dare gravity to try them. They thought they had you figured out, didn't they? Boxed you in with their weak assumptions, thought your silence meant surrender. They never understood. Silence was your weapon. You were observing, absorbing, building an arsenal they could never see coming. While they wasted breath bragging, you were constructing an empire brick by brutal brick. They never saw the storm because they were too busy mocking the clouds. And now, they're the ones begging for the rain to stop, while you dance through the flood like a goddamn force of nature. You turn the tables, not by luck, not by grace, but by relentless, merciless evolution. And the best part? You didn't need to scream. You let your presence become the punishment. Your growth became the ghost that haunts their pride. There's a special kind of beauty in watching the arrogant crumble, the ones who strutted in front of you, thinking they had it all. Now look at them, flustered, confused, choking on the very arrogance they once wore like armor. You didn't just beat them, you exposed them. You turned their own games against them, made their own rules irrelevant. You made them look dumb as hell by simply doing what they never could. You stayed real, stayed grounded, and pushed forward when no one was watching. You've shown the world that raw power doesn't scream. It watches, waits, and then unleashes. And now the whole room goes silent when you walk in, because your presence tells a story they never wanted to hear. Pain made you, not privilege, not popularity, not praise, but pain. It forged your spine, sharpened your vision, hardened your heart, not into stone, but into a weapon. They called you cold, emotionless, maybe even ruthless. But what they didn't realize is that you were simply done pretending. You were tired of playing small so others could feel big. And when you finally unleashed the truth of who you are, when you stopped shrinking to fit their boxes, that's when the fear hit them. Because nothing scares weak people more than someone who no longer needs their approval to dominate. You made them look pathetic by simply stepping into your truth, unapologetically. Remember those nights when your chest felt like it was caving in? When you questioned everything? When you almost let their voices become your reality? Those nights built you. Those nights stripped away the lies and left only the raw, unfiltered version of you, and that version is terrifying. You didn't just survive the storm, you became it. And now you walk through the world like a warning. You're not bitter, you're better. Not broken, but battle-hardened. You turn the tables, and the noise that followed, that's not applause. It's the sound of egos shattering. They'll say you changed. Of course you did. You evolved, adapted, and became something their imagination could never comprehend. You outgrew their comfort zones. You outpaced their expectations. And they're left scrambling, trying to figure out how someone they dismissed is now dominating. That's the irony. The same people who said you'd never make it are now trying to act like they believed in you all along. But your eyes see through it. You remember every smirk, every insult, every passive-aggressive comment. And you smile, not because you're holding a grudge, but because you don't need to. Success is loud enough. There's a difference between someone who wins because they were positioned and someone who wins because they refuse to quit. You are the ladder. You are the storm that built itself. You didn't climb the ladder. You ripped it down and built your own. The ones who laughed are now watching in stunned silence. You made them look like clowns in their own circus. They can't copy your moves because they were never made in the dark like you. They were built for comfort. You were forged for chaos. You are the chaos. And chaos doesn't apologize. Look at what you've done. Look at who you've become. You didn't just turn the tables. You redesigned the whole damn room. And now, they don't know where to sit. Every glance you give them is a reminder of their misjudgment. Every step you take is a monument to your resilience. They don't clap for you because they're proud. They clap because they're scared. Scared of what you'll do next. Scared that their masks won't work anymore. Because when you show up, the truth shows up with you. And the truth doesn't care about their status, their followers, their fake personas. The truth burns through all of it, and you are the fire. You were never meant to blend in. You were born to disrupt, to destroy illusions, to dismantle lies dressed as confidence. And now that the world is seeing who you really are, the wolves are howling and the sheep are scattering. Let them run, because you're not here to make them comfortable. You're here to conquer. And when they ask how you did it, you'll just smile, because legends don't explain themselves. They let their legacy do the talking. This wasn't luck. This wasn't timing. This was execution. This was sweat, blood, and refusal. You refuse to bow, refuse to beg, refuse to break. And that's why they fear you now. Not because you said something, but because you proved something. You proved that power doesn't come from noise. It comes from purpose. And yours, it's unstoppable. You turn the tables. And now those who once mocked you are whispering your name like it's prophecy. So what's next? Whatever the hell you want. You earn this rage. You earn this silence. You earn the right to walk through the ruins of their pride without saying a word. Because the truth is, they never stood a chance. Not against someone who turned pain into power. Someone who turned failure into fuel. Someone who made their doubt look like a joke. You didn't just win. You made it look easy. And that's the worst punishment of all. Because deep down, they know. They know you deserved none of what you went through, but you turned it into gold anyway. And they can't sleep knowing that their worst didn't even scratch you. They tried to bury you, and now you're standing 10 feet taller. They tried to silence you, and now the world hangs on your every word. They tried to erase you, and now your name echoes louder than ever. You turned the tables, and damn, you made them look dumb as hell. They never imagined you would rise. They planned your fall with such confidence, whispered behind closed doors about how you'd crack, how you'd crumble. But here you are, standing in the ruins of their arrogance, looking down on their shattered pride. They didn't just underestimate you, they disrespected you. And disrespect like that isn't forgotten. It's the kind of fuel that turns the coldest nights into blazing infernos. You turn the tables so hard, the echoes of their failure still haunt the halls where they once celebrated their superiority. You made them look pathetic, not because you wanted to humiliate, but because they deserved every ounce of that pain. You showed them what it means to be powerless against someone who's been starving for success, while they were busy feeding their egos with lies and cheap victories. You're not a victim of circumstance. You're a predator in a world of prey. And predators don't apologize. They don't explain. They don't waste energy crying about how unfair life is. They act. You took everything they threw at you, all the sneers, the mockery, the subtle sabotage, and you molded it into a weapon sharper than any blade. You became a force that cannot be ignored, cannot be bargained with, cannot be stopped. And they are reduced to spectators, scrambling for relevance in a game you rewrote entirely. Their laughter has turned into silence, their whispers into panic, their confidence into uncertainty. You didn't just make them look dumb as hell, you made them irrelevant. Feel that power coursing through your veins? That isn't just adrenaline. It's the culmination of every moment you wanted to quit, but didn't. Every tear that fell in the shadows, every second spent doubting yourself, every night spent fighting the monsters inside your mind. Those moments weren't wasted. They were the crucible that forged the person who stands unbreakable today. And don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise. Your story isn't just a story of survival, it's a story of domination. It's a warning to those who believe they can break you, and a beacon for those who feel broken but refuse to be beaten. So if this resonates with you, if this fire is burning in your chest, smash that subscribe button, hit like, and share this with the ones who need to know that they can rise. They will rise, and they must rise. You made them look dumb as hell because you mastered what they never learned: patience, persistence, and ruthless self-belief. While they were busy chasing instant gratification, you were planting seeds deep underground, knowing that the roots of your greatness would only get stronger with time. And now, the harvest has come. The fruits of your labor hang heavy in the air, impossible to ignore. They look at you and see a person who doesn't just talk about power, but embodies it. You are the nightmare of every bully, the regret of every doubter, the irrefutable proof that greatness isn't given, it's taken, and you took it by storm. They'll try to rewrite the story. They'll try to pretend you were lucky, or that you cheated, or that the system was somehow against them, not you. But deep down, you know the truth. Truth doesn't bend, doesn't hide, doesn't soften. Truth is the blade you wield with precision. The truth is that you outworked them, outsmarted them, and outlasted them. You were the ghost in their machine, the glitch in their perfect plans. You turned the tables and exposed every crack in their armor. Now, the question is, what will you do next? Will you settle for this victory, or will you rise even higher, fueled by the taste of their defeat? The greatest revenge isn't in words or petty insults. It's in living well, in thriving when they thought you would perish. It's in showing up every day stronger, sharper, smarter. It's in looking back only to see how far you've come, not to relive the pain, but to remind yourself why you never gave up. You didn't turn the tables just to prove them wrong. You did it to prove to yourself that nothing can hold you down unless you allow it. You made them look pathetic because you stopped giving them the power to define you. And that's the ultimate triumph. Remember, darkness is where you found your strength. Pain is the teacher no one wants, but the most honest one you could ever ask for. Failure was just a stepping stone, a brutal lesson carved deep into your soul. And now, with every scar you wear like a medal, you walk forward unafraid. The tables are turned, yes, but your battle has just begun. The world is watching, and they are waiting to see what you do next. Will you rise higher? Will you break more chains? Will you silence more doubters? The answer is in your hands and in your heart, beating with the relentless pulse of someone who knows no defeat. You made them look dumb as hell because you refused to be the punchline of their jokes. You became the author of your own destiny, the architect of your own empire. The stronger you get, the more they crumble. The louder your success, the quieter their excuses become. You've become the shadow they can't escape, the storm they can't predict. And every step you take is a reminder that the tables aren't just turned. They're broken, shattered, and rebuilt in your image. So stand tall, breathe deep. Know that the fire inside you is unstoppable. You made them look pathetic, but the true victory is in how far you've come, how fiercely you continue to rise, and how relentlessly you refuse to be anything less than extraordinary. The world may have doubted you once, but now they know. You are a force to be reckoned with. And this is only the beginning. They tried to pin you down, tried to write your story before you even got to the climax. They lined up their judgments, their insults, their empty promises of doom, like bullets aimed straight at your heart. But you didn't just dodge them. You collected those bullets, melted them down, and forged an unbreakable crown from their hatred. Every whisper behind your back was fuel for a rage so cold, so precise, that it didn't just burn, it consumed. You turned the tables so hard they didn't know whether to be afraid or to weep. You made them look pathetic because they never saw the storm inside you brewing, the relentless force that was going to drag them into the dust where they belong. Look at their faces now, the ones who thought they'd outshine you, the ones who thought your fall was inevitable. The same faces now twisted in confusion, swallowed by silence. They're scrambling for answers, trying to catch up, trying to rewrite the rules. But it's too late. You're not playing by their rules anymore. You're not just a player. You're the game changer. You flipped the board, smashed the pieces, and built a whole new world where you decide who wins. They made their bets, thinking you were the underdog. But you were the wolf all along, waiting to strike. And strike you did, with a force so brutal it left no doubt, no mercy, only the cold truth of your eyes. There's a savage beauty in watching someone else's empire crumble beneath your feet, especially when they built it on lies, on arrogance, on the broken backs of others. They thought they were untouchable, invincible, but their foundation was nothing but dust. You exposed it. You ripped the curtain away from their grand show and revealed the chaos behind the mask. You made them look dumb as hell, not because you wanted to mock, but because you showed them what real strength looks like. Strength doesn't need to shout or boast. Strength is quiet. It's patient. It's a slow-burning fire that becomes a raging inferno when unleashed. And you are that fire. Now, hold that moment in your mind. The moment when you realized you weren't just surviving, you were thriving. The moment when their doubts stopped echoing in your mind and turned into the soundtrack of your success. The moment you stopped playing by their game and started writing your own rules. You made them look pathetic because you refused to be their puppet, their joke, their punchline. You turned every insult into a stepping stone, every failure into a lesson, every tear into armor. And that's the kind of power that doesn't just change your life, it changes the world around you. If you're sitting here, feeling that fire, knowing this is your story too, then don't hesitate. Smash that subscribe button like it owes you money. Hit that like with the force of all the pain you've turned into power. Share this with everyone who's been underestimated, overlooked, and told they'll never make it. This is the anthem for the fighters, the relentless, the ones who turn their scars into stars. Because the world needs more warriors who understand what it means to rise from the ashes and make their enemies look pathetic in the process. The path you chose wasn't easy. No, it was bloody and brutal, cold, and filled with nights where the darkness seemed to suffocate every breath. But you didn't back down. You couldn't back down. You were forged in fire, tempered by trials no one else saw. And that's what sets you apart. When others fall apart under pressure, you become pressure itself. When others break, you become the breaker. You didn't just turn the tables, you shattered them. And that shattering sound, that's the sound of their pride crumbling, their lies dying, and your legacy rising. There's a terrifying power in owning your truth, in stepping into your full darkness and light without apology. You made them look dumb as hell because you showed up fully, raw, real, and unrelenting. You became the nightmare they never saw coming because they were too busy underestimating you. But now, every glance you give them is a reminder of their foolishness. Every step you take is a monument to your resilience, and every breath you draw is a promise that you're only getting started. Don't stop now. Don't settle for the scraps of victory they leave behind. Take everything you've earned, every lesson carved into your bones, and push forward like the hurricane you were always meant to be. You turned the tables. You made them look pathetic. But the next chapters of your story, they belong to you, fierce, fearless, and unstoppable. The darkness you faced wasn't a curse. It was a gift, a raw, savage gift that gave you the strength to tear down everything that ever tried to cage you. You've made them look dumb as hell by being smarter, stronger, faster than they ever dreamed possible. You've made their arrogance look weak and their power look fragile. And now, as you stand tall, victorious, and unshaken, you know one thing with absolute certainty. You are the storm, the reckoning, the legend that they'll never forget. They will speak your name with hesitation now, not out of respect, but out of fear. Not because you asked for their recognition, but because your rise demands it. You didn't ask for the crown. You took it, and now it sits heavy on your head, forged from the ashes of every insult they threw at you. They'll say you got lucky. They'll say you changed. But what they'll never admit is that deep down, they knew. They knew you were capable of this all along, and that's what scared them most. You didn't just flip the script, you burned the book and wrote your own damn story in ink made from your sweat and scars. You turned the tables, and you made them look dumb as hell doing it. Now walk away. Not with bitterness, not with vengeance, but with power. True power. The kind that doesn't need applause, the kind that doesn't need to explain itself. You proved everything you needed to prove by becoming unshakable. They wanted you to break. You became the hammer. They wanted you to fail. You built an empire.